Hello everybody and welcome to a grape variety session on Primitivo Zinfandel. This is the intermediate version. If you require more information, we do have an advanced version which goes into a lot more detail about the history and the movement of this variety throughout the world. My name is Jimmy Smith. I am the owner of West London Wine School, one of the UK's leading wine education facilities, South London Wine School, the sister school, and Streatham Wine House, which is a wine bar. I am a wine educator and a wine buyer. Been for about the last sort of 17, 18 years. My top handle there is my own Instagram and Twitter account. Please get in touch, comments and questions at Wine with Jimmy. So this is going to be a general view at Primitivo and Zinfandel. So a variety which is important and mentioned in the WSET level 2. So this is ideal for those of you studying WSET level 2. So the origin of the variety, which is not mentioned in WSET level 2, but I think it is fascinating nonetheless, is in fact Croatia. A woman called Carol Meredith from the Davis University in California did a ZinQuest, a study out of Zinfandel to find its origins and traced it back to Primitivo after realizing that this is the same variety, and then further back to Croatia, where it's known as Tribidrag, but also it has another name, which is Zrljenak Kastelanski. So two names that don't roll off the tongue that easy, and probably why they're not so well known by people around the world. But it is origin of Croatia, which is quite fascinating. Of course, it's called Primitivo in Italy. We know it's been called Primitivo since the 18th century from the area around Gio do Colle, which is a middle part of Puglia down in the south, in the heel of South Italy. So Primitivo in Italy. It is called Zinfandel in the US, and we know it's been called Zinfandel since really the sort of mid-19th century. It's made its way across via Vienna, we think, via an imperial collection of vines, and then was planted quite extensively in around California. So Zinfandel in the USA. It loves warmth, it loves heat, so of course California and of course down in Puglia. So yeah, lots of warmth to ripen the grape well enough to give a lot of power and complexity behind it. Then high alcohols will be produced. Often you'll see wines between sort of 13.5% to 16% alcohol for Zinfandels and Primitivo, so pretty sizable. Full-bodied reds being produced, powerful and intense in style. Tannins can often be quite ripe, but quite soft, not too bitter. And then oak will be used. You'll find oak certainly in Californian Zinfandels. You'll find them a lot of new oak, a lot of American oak will be produced, used to produce these kind of coconut vanilla-y sort of characteristics in a Zinfandel. But there is another style also in California, which is definitely the world's biggest production. California does produce the most of this variety in the world, and white Zinfandel is a certainly massive, significant part of that. These are wines that are made with short skin contact just to give a light rosé color, but an unfermented touch to it as well. So a non-finished fermentation to leave residual sugar in the bottle. The result is a medium sweet rosé, which they call white Zinfandels. Big volume productions like Blossom Hill, Echo Falls, Gallo craft a lot of these. So white Zinfandel rosés. Where do we find it? Really, Croatia has some, of course, it's the origin, but really we find it in California. So places like Lodi and Sonoma and Napa. And then in Italy, which is the picture here, in Puglia. And Puglia is that heel of Italy. It's quite a complex area with many vines, but really the key areas are on the Murge Peninsula, plateau, which is the greenish area there called the Gio do Colle, where it was first mentioned. And then down south towards the pinkish areas called Manduria. But for level 2, they wish you just to know that the whole area of Puglia is an IGT, an Indicazione Geografica Tipica. IGT. This is the equivalent of a Pays d'Oc or a Pays wine in France, for instance, or a Vina de la Tierra in Spain. So these are like a region, like a county, and mainly is produced under the banner as a normally quite full-bodied, dark, dried fruited style. And yes, that's the characteristics you get. Normally, we are looking at black berry, black cherry, black plum, leading into very ripe and liqueur, and also then dried fruits, raisins, figs, and prunes. You may find things like licorice, vanilla, oak, and sometimes some herbaceous notes in Californian, like mint, for instance. But they are big, big, powerful wines with softer tannins. Acidities can vary depending on acidification, the addition of acid, but high alcohols, but quite pleasurable wines. I liken them quite a lot, certainly Primitivos, towards being like an Argentine Malbec style. And that would give you that kind of full-bodied, rich alcoholic style, but with quite soft tannins and soft acids. So they are quite well liked in the United Kingdom, for example. So that is really the intermediate look, which will help you with WSET level 2. If you have any comments or questions, please get in touch at Wine with Jimmy. There's also the addresses for the wine schools and the wine bar. Please, if you're ever visiting London, please come and see us at the wine bar for a glass of wine. It's such a great place with over 300 different wines on the list, and I'm sure you will love it. The websites are down there for all of our wine tastings and courses at the schools, also our online events, as well as Wine Scholar Guild and WSET. It's been a pleasure. Once again, if you want more information, please look at our advanced version of Primitivo and Zinfandel. Thank you so much. See you soon.